Have you ever had one of those moments you're just going about your day, minding your own business, maybe walking down a familiar street or, entering a new space, when suddenly you encounter someone or something and there's just this immediate, undeniable pull? It's like a sense of familiarity, a really deep recognition that just it bypasses all rational thought,
Yeah.
as if you've known them forever, even before your logical mind could process a single detail about them. Your gut just knew.
Right.
It's this profound internal whisper almost, like it predates any conscious understanding.
It's a truly captivating phenomenon, isn't it? These flashes of intuitive recognition, they stand in such stark contrast to how we're typically taught to engage with the
That's
world.
definitely.
We're sort of conditioned to analyze, right? To categorize, process information logically, step by step. Yet these flashes you describe, these moments where our intuitions seem to just leapfrog our intellect,
Yeah.
they often contain these profound yet frequently overlooked insights into the very nature of human and even interspecies connection.
Yeah. That's fascinating.
They hint at a deeper layer, an unseen level of interaction, a kind of resonance that our modern sort of hyper-rational world, well, it rarely acknowledges, let alone really explores.
It's like there's another operating system running underneath it all.
Exactly. A whole other operating system running quietly beneath the surface.
Absolutely. A fascinating alternate operating system indeed. And that precisely is the heart of our deep dive today. We're calling this exploration When the Soul Recognizes Before the Mind Understands. We're going to dive headfirst into these often mysterious moments of intuitive recognition, and we're drawing from a singularly rich and reflective source. Our guide for this journey is Lóng Tíng. He's a distinguished author, coach, mentor, and also the CEO of Lóng Tíng Enterprises.
Okay.
And he describes himself in a way that really sets the stage for our conversation. He says he's someone who walks between ancient and emerging worlds, rooted in East Asian thought, yet fully present in the global now.
That's beautifully put.
Isn't it? And his personal mission, he says, is to build bridges between West and East, between tradition and modernity, like a bamboo path leading toward a quiet mountain temple. So that immediately establishes this powerful cultural and philosophical context. It invites us to look beyond, well, the conventional frameworks.
Yeah, and Lóng Tíng's perspective isn't just valuable here. I'd say it's essential for a topic like this. He doesn't just theorize about bridging different worldviews. He kind of embodies it.
Right.
Many of the nuanced concepts we'll likely touch on today, particularly those around intuitive and spiritual connections,
Yeah.
they often lack direct equivalence, or at least the same depth of understanding within purely Western frameworks.
That makes sense.
So by offering this dual lens drawing from deep East Asian thought while navigating these contemporary global realities, he provides this unique, really holistic framework. And that allows us to approach and understand ideas that might otherwise remain elusive, or maybe even get dismissed as, superstition or just weird coincidences.
Right.
It's a synthesis, really, integrating the rationale with the intuitive ancient wisdom with modern application. It creates a much richer tapestry of understanding.
And our mission then, in this deep dive, is to unpack exactly how these moments of intuitive connection, these instances where, as Lóng Tíng puts it so beautifully, the soul reacts before the mind can make sense of it.
Yeah.
How they can be incredibly powerful indicators of trust and understanding. And we're not just talking about those fleeting personal encounters that might make you pause for a second. We're going to explore how profoundly significant this can be in practical, really crucial domains, particularly leadership, in today's complex, interconnected world.
Right.
It's about turning an abstract feeling into something more tangible, maybe even an advantage.
Precisely. And for you, our listener, gaining insight into these subtle, often invisible dynamics,
Yeah.
it offers a kind of shortcut, maybe, to being truly well-informed about deeper human interactions.
A shortcut. I like that.
Yeah, it gives you a more nuanced understanding of how genuine trust isn't just negotiated, but recognized.
Fucking it.
And how effective leadership can actually transcend those conventional, purely analytical methods. It's about cultivating an awareness of the unseen forces at play in every interaction, which, I mean, that could be invaluable when you're navigating diverse global contexts or forging partnerships or building cohesive teams.
Absolutely.
This isn't just theory. It's about developing a profound sensitivity that can inform your decisions and deepen your connections in very real, practical ways.
Okay, let's unpack this with a story then, because Lóng Tíng kicks off his reflection with a truly extraordinary event, something that happened in the middle of a perfectly ordinary day. An experience that, he says, stayed with him quietly, like a hand resting on my shoulder. So imagine this. He was just on his routine walk to the metro, familiar journey, right? Through the bustling city.
Okay, the everyday commute.
Exactly. The usual sounds, smells, the flow of people, nothing out of the ordinary. But then, amidst this sort of mundane backdrop, something shifted. He noticed him from a distance, a Doberman, and he describes this dog as, well, beautiful, tall, powerful, with a coat dark, almost glowing like polished stone.
Wow, quite a presence.
Yeah, and the way this Doberman moved, it was with this proud, elegant grace that just instantly captivated his attention. He found himself slowing down almost involuntarily just to watch this magnificent animal. Can you picture that moment when some presence, human or animal, just demands your attention, draws your gaze and holds it just through its sheer energy and, I don't know, profound grace?
Yeah, it happens.
It's not just a passing glance. It's like an energetic pull that makes you stop and just observe. A pause in the ordinary rhythm.
It's a vivid illustration, isn't it, of how our subconscious is constantly picking up subtle cues, energies that our conscious mind might initially filter out.
Right.
We often operate on a kind of autopilot in our daily routines, don't we?
Yeah.
But every now and then, something profoundly unique just breaks through that programming. And this wasn't just about how the Doberman looked, the aesthetics. It sounds like it was about the animal's undeniable presence, its distinct energy signature, maybe. Something that resonated with Lóng Tíng on a much deeper precognitive level. It's as if his internal radar suddenly picked up this anomalous signal, priming his whole being for an encounter that would just defy explanation.
Yeah.
It really highlights how powerful nonverbal communication can be,
Yeah.
even before any direct interaction, like a primal invitation.
And here's where it gets really interesting, where that primal invitation turns into just undeniable action. Lóng Tíng vividly recounts the moment the Doberman's eyes met his, and in the very next instant, zero hesitation, the dog pulled his owner across the square straight toward me.
Toward him. Wow.
Yeah, and he emphasizes the absolute specificity, not toward a tree, not toward another dog, toward me, as if he had decided. There. That is where I need to go. Think about that pure, unadulterated, instinctual drive from the animal, completely devoid of the kind of overthinking or doubt or second-guessing that we humans get so tangled up in.
No hesitation.
No internal debate, no weighing options, just a clear, unwavering intent, like an arrow shot straight to its target.
That instinctual drive is just.
Yeah.
It's utterly critical to understanding this moment. Animals, especially those with strong pack or bonding instincts, they often operate on a level of pure, unadulterated intuition. They're not burdened by the layers of social conditioning or self-consciousness or rational analysis that we typically employ.
It's much simpler.
Yeah. For the Doberman, there was this immediate, undeniable pull, a recognition that bypassed any need for logical processing or external validation. It underscores a fundamental difference, doesn't it? While we might weigh options, calculate outcomes, consider social appropriateness, for this animal, the decision was immediate, organic, driven by some unseen force of connection. It's a stark contrast to our human tendency to intellectualize and complicate every impulse. It's a reminder of a purer way of knowing, maybe.
And the dog's reaction upon reaching Lóng Tíng was, well, truly something to behold. Exuberance personified. He describes the Doberman as almost dancing with joy. Just this almost comical display of happiness.
Not dancing.
You can picture the scene, right? Public square, people going about their business, then this sudden, intense interaction. And a couple nearby, witnessing this enthusiasm from the dog, they naturally commented, echoing common human assumptions. Well, someone is happy to see his owner again.
Of course. No logical explanation.
But Lóng Tíng, genuinely bewildered by this intense reception from a complete stranger, he could only shake his head. He had to clarify, no, I don't know this dog. The gentleman over there is his owner.
Okay.
And he describes this brief but really palpable silence that followed, a moment of collective pause, as all eyes around them seemed to be asking the same thing. What is happening here?
The confusion.
Yeah, just collective bewilderment, a moment where the rational minds of the bystanders simply couldn't reconcile what they were seeing with what was being said. Their frameworks for understanding just broke.
That's a beautiful illustration, though, of that deeply ingrained human tendency.
Hmm.
We try to rationalize, right? Categorize events based on our pre-existing mental models, our experiences.
We need things to make sense.
Exactly. And when confronted with something that doesn't fit neatly into our understanding, like a dog recognizing stranger with such fervent joy, our immediate, often unconscious response is confusion, followed by this urgent attempt to make it fit.
Right. Find the box for it.
Yeah. The silence and bewilderment Lóng Tíng describes. It highlights how uncomfortable we are with the inexplicable, how quickly we seek a logical explanation. Even when the evidence right in front of us points to something far beyond the ordinary, it challenges our default mode of rational interpretation.
Hmm.
It prompts us to consider that maybe not everything can be understood purely through intellect or our learned social scripts. It's a moment of cognitive dissonance that just begs for a deeper explanation.
But the Doberman, completely oblivious to all the human confusion and the need for rational explanations, it offered the final, unambiguous confirmation of its connection. Without a moment's hesitation, as if it were the most natural thing in the world, the dog rose on his hind legs, placed his paws on my chest, and licked my face with overflowing joy.
Wow. Just went for it.
Totally.
Yeah.
And in that instant, Lóng Tíng describes as a profound internal feeling. It felt as if we had always known each other, as if he recognized something in me that no one else around us could see. This right there, that visceral, unexplainable knowing, that's the core of what we're calling soul recognition. It's powerful, almost spiritual knowing that utterly transcends the physical, the immediate, the purely logical. Have you ever felt that, listener? That profound, unexplainable sense of connection, that resonant familiarity, even with someone or something you've just met. It's not about logic. It's about a deep, undeniable knowing.
That's a truly powerful description. Deeply intimate and profound experience. What makes this moment so resonant is how it absolutely validates an inner knowing that just utterly defies external logic or social norms or prior acquaintance.
Right.
For Lóng Tíng, it wasn't just a dog being friendly or playful. It was a deep mutual understanding that had no rational basis, yet felt completely true. This soul recognition, it bypasses the usual filters of conscious thought and ego. It suggests an inherent interconnectedness, maybe, kind of pre-existing bond that's often hidden by the complexities of daily life and the noise of our analytical minds. Yeah. It implies a deep vibrational match, perhaps, a resonance between two beings that signals a prior, maybe even ancient or karmic connection.
Wow.
It's a potent reminder that we are capable of experiencing relationships and understandings that transcend the purely material. It invites us to acknowledge a dimension of existence beyond our five senses.
And what's even more striking is that Lóng Tíng reveals this wasn't just an isolated incident, a one-off anomaly. He shares that this specific kind of profound recognition had happened to him maybe 3 times in his life.
3 times, okay.
Yeah. These were encounters where, as he puts it, a being human or animal looked at me with the certainty of long-lost connection. And in each case, no words were exchanged to create this bond, yet there was this deep, unmistakable sensation. A part of his soul seemed to remember the other. The recurring nature of these powerful non-verbal connections, it strongly implies that these aren't just random isolated things, but maybe manifestations of a deeper, more universal human and perhaps even animal experience.
Yeah, it suggests a pattern.
Right. An invisible fabric of connection underlying our existence that we seldom acknowledge or maybe even perceive.
Indeed, the fact that this happened multiple times suggests these aren't mere coincidences. They're manifestations of a deeper, underlying principle of connection. It points to a kind of receptivity within him, maybe, or perhaps within certain individuals, that allows these experiences to occur more frequently or to be perceived more clearly.
An openness.
Exactly. An attunement, an openness to recognizing these subtle frequencies of connection that are often drowned out by our busy analytical minds. This isn't about being, an animal whisperer or psychic in some sensational way.
Right.
It's about being present enough and perhaps having cultivated a certain internal quietness to feel the resonance, to acknowledge the certainty of a long-lost connection without needing a rational, verifiable explanation. It opens up the possibility that we all carry these memories of connection, this inner knowing, just waiting for the right encounter to awaken them.
And in Chinese culture, there's actually a word for this, a beautiful ancient concept that really encapsulates this phenomenon. Yuánfèn.
Yuánfèn.
Yeah. Lóng Tíng explains that it is hard to translate directly into English. While some might offer fate or destiny as initial equivalents, he clarifies that Yuánfèn is more subtle.
More subtle than fate.
Right. It's not about a preordained rigid path or about possession or permanence in a relationship. Instead, it is, as he describes it, the invisible thread that connects two lives, regardless of time or distance.
The invisible thread.
And he adds beautifully that it is about recognition, a fleeting touch, a wing beat of the cosmos. So this is where it gets really fascinating. What does this all mean for us, especially trying to grasp it through a Western lens? How does Yuánfèn distinguish itself from our notions of fate, or even just pure chance, serendipity? Because, for a Western ear, an invisible thread, a wing beat of the cosmos, that can sound an awful lot like destiny. Where's the line?
That's a crucial distinction to explore, yeah. It highlights those cultural nuances.
Yeah.
What's so fascinating about Yuánfèn is its unique blend of acceptance and agency, maybe, which differentiates it. Western fate often implies that unchangeable, predetermined path, right? A fixed outcome that kind of removes individual will.
Right, like it's out of your hands.
Exactly. And serendipity suggests a happy accident, a fortunate coincidence, but maybe without that underlying spiritual significance. Yuánfèn, though, carries this profound spiritual depth, but it seems to retain a sense of individual engagement.
Okay, how so?
Well, it's less about things happening to us entirely outside our control and more about an inherent pre-existing potential for connection.
Potential.
That reveals itself when the conditions are right, when we are open enough to perceive it. Think of it less like a grand, inescapable divine plan and more like, the delicate, sometimes fleeting recognition of an existing resonance, an alignment of energies.
Okay, like tuning forks.
Yeah, something like that. Or like a beautiful melody that exists in the air, just waiting for the right instruments and musicians to play it in a particular moment. The melody is there, but its manifestation depends on presence, on receptivity. So it's not random, nor is it rigidly fixed. It's about the conditions being right for that specific connection to manifest. A recognition of an inherent subtle bond rather than creating one from scratch.
Got it.
It emphasizes the subtle, often poetic, deeply human nature of these interactions, suggesting a kind of profound synchronicity where your spirit intuitively aligns with another's, bringing that sense of rightness, deep familiarity.
And Lóng Tíng explicitly states that when the Doberman pressed its paws against his chest, that was it, that unmistakable feeling. He felt Yuánfèn, and he immediately knew, with this absolute certainty that just cut through any confusion, this was not random. That feeling, that deep resonant recognition, it gave profound meaning and context to an otherwise completely bewildering encounter. It moved it from the realm of anomaly to, well, destiny maybe, or at least a deeply meaningful connection.
Exactly. Yuánfèn provides this powerful ancient framework to understand these seemingly inexplicable encounters. It imbues them with meaning and depth far beyond mere chance or a charming anecdote.
Right.
It validates that profound soul recognition he experienced. Without a concept like that, we might just dismiss these moments, right, as oddities, coincidences, statistical anomalies.
Yeah, file it under weird stuff that happened.
File it away and move on.
Yeah.
But with Yuánfèn, these events become significant. They reveal this subtle tapestry of interconnectedness underlying our existence. It offers a cultural and philosophical context for respecting and honoring these intuitive experiences, giving them a legitimate, valued place in how we understand the world. It's a way of acknowledging, okay, there's more at play here than meets the eye. It invites us to look beyond the surface.
Now, it's important to acknowledge a crucial and sometimes really challenging aspect of this profound recognition. As Lóng Tíng points out, such recognition is not always mutual.
Oh, yeah. It's tough.
He notes that sometimes only one soul feels it, the other walks on untouched. And that can be a really difficult, even painful part of the experience, can't it?
Absolutely.
As humans, we naturally long for that reciprocity. We want the connection felt equally, acknowledged, returned, like a complete circuit. And when it's not, when that deep resonance isn't mirrored back, he openly admits, that can hurt. It really highlights the inherent vulnerability and profound emotional depth involved in these deep intuitive connections. Have you ever felt that, listener? That strong, undeniable connection to someone only to realize they didn't seem to feel it back? or maybe didn't even notice. It's a very real, sometimes profoundly painful part of our shared human experience. Leaves you wondering why.
It speaks to that fundamental human desire for validation, for shared experience.
Yeah.
When we feel that profound, almost visceral resonance, there's this inherent, often unconscious expectation that it will be mirrored.
Yeah, you just assume.
Right. And the pain or disappointment when it isn't, as Lóng Tíng describes, it stems from this unfulfilled longing for a mutual echo. For the loop to close, it forces us to confront the fact that our inner experience isn't always reflected in the external world the way we might hope, which highlights the emotional courage it takes to remain open to such deep connections, knowing they might not always be reciprocated. It becomes a lesson, maybe, in internalizing the value of the experience for ourselves, regardless of the other person's awareness.
Finding the gift within the feeling itself.
Exactly, rather than demanding an external affirmation. And that process can lead to greater emotional maturity, allowing us to hold both the joy of recognition and the potential for unrequited feeling, simultaneously.
But despite that potential for hurt, despite the asymmetry, Lóng Tíng asserts something really powerful, transformative, and yet, even if it blossoms only inside of us, it is still a gift. It's an interesting, quite profound shift in perspective, isn't it? Moving from expecting reciprocity to appreciating the sort of self-contained value.
It truly is a profound shift. Why is it still a gift, even if it's one-sided?
Well, I think it's a gift precisely because it expands our own capacity, our capacity for connection, for empathy, for heightened sensitivity to the world.
Ah, okay. It grows something in us.
Right. When we experience such a moment, even if unreciprocated, it deepens our self-awareness. It acts like an internal compass, teaching us about our own inner landscape, our emotional radar, our ability to perceive beyond the superficial. It can significantly heighten our empathy for others, maybe allowing us to understand the silent currents of human interaction more acutely, makes us more attuned to the subtle energies around us.
It's a reminder that the power of recognition resides first within ourselves, within our own consciousness and capacity to feel deeply. And that capacity, regardless of whether it's reflected back, is a profound gift in itself. It's about self-enrichment, spiritual growth, and expansion of one's own emotional and intuitive intelligence, not just a transactional exchange of feeling.
Yeah.
It cultivates a richer inner life, allowing us to see more beauty and connection, even in moments others might miss.
And Lóng Tíng offers personal examples of these human encounters, illustrating how everyday they can be, actually. He thinks of moments with people. A stranger on a train, a colleague in a meeting, an elder in a village far from home.
Diverse settings.
Yeah. And the common thread in these different experiences is always the same, this consistent signal. Their eyes meeting mine, and for a split second the world felt ancient, as if our lives had been woven together before.
Wow, that ancient feeling.
It's that glimpse into a shared history you don't rationally know, a flicker of ancestral memory in the present moment. So let me ask you directly, listener. Have you ever had that? A look, a smile, a fleeting moment where your body whispered, "I know you," even though your mind insisted you are a stranger. It's a very common, yet often unacknowledged phenomenon. Something many of us just brush aside, maybe because we lack the framework like Yuánfèn to understand it.
It truly is. These seemingly small, fleeting moments are profound because they transcend the superficial roles and labels we adopt in modern society. We often interact based on function, right? The barista, the cashier, the colleague, the driver. But these instances, Lóng Tíng describes, they shatter those categories. They reveal a deeper commonality, a shared humanity running beneath the surface. They're potent reminders that we carry an inherent ancient capacity for connection that exists outside of our job titles, our social standing, even our spoken languages. They remind us of our fundamental interconnectedness, tapping into a collective consciousness that perhaps predates our individual lives, hinting at a connection that is, as he puts it so beautifully, older than language.
Older than language.
It's almost like a biological imperative for connection, deeply embedded in our very being.
And that leads to this truly profound statement from Lóng Tíng, one that really resonates with his own mission. He says, these encounters remind us that we are more than commuters in a city, more than names in a database. We are bridges older than language.
Wow. We are bridges.
It's such a powerful, evocative metaphor, isn't it? It challenges us to reconsider our individual and collective identity in a really fundamental way.
The metaphor of being bridges older than language, it's incredibly potent.
Yeah.
Multi-layered. It fundamentally challenges that modern, often isolating perception of individual identity as separate, distinct, self-contained.
Right. The atomized self.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In a world that frequently emphasizes personal achievement, individual data points, digital profiles,
Yeah.
this idea reminds us that we are intrinsically linked,
Yeah.
not just metaphorically, but almost energetically.
Mhm.
To be a bridge implies connection, right?
Mhm.
Passage, facilitating understanding between distinct entities.
Mm-hmm.
And when we're described as older than language, it means these connections precede our learned communication, our cultural constructs, even our logical thought.
Mm.
They touch on something primal, universal, deeply spiritual within us. And this concept directly reflects Lóng Tíng's personal mission, doesn't it? Building bridges between cultures, traditions, different ways of knowing.
Yeah, it lines up perfectly.
It suggests our very essence is to connect, to facilitate flow, to carry meaning and understanding from one point to another, not just as individuals, but as conduits of a larger shared human experience. This idea pushes us to fundamentally reconsider how we interact and perceive our role in the social fabric. It urges us towards more resonant, meaningful, less transactional engagements. It invites us to recognize that maybe our deepest purpose isn't found in accumulating, but in connecting.
Now let me bring this powerful concept, intuitive recognition, Yuánfèn. Let's bring it into the realm of leadership, because this is where these deep insights take on a profoundly practical, impactful dimension.
Okay.
Leadership.
We often think of leadership as being all about strategy, meticulous planning, data analytics, and of course, measurable results, KPIs, right?
The standard playbook.
Exactly. Cornerstones of business schools, corporate training, performance reviews. But Lóng Tíng proposes something radically different, yet deeply intuitive. He suggests that leadership is also about recognition, about sensing those moments when trust arrives before words. This directly challenges that purely rational, analytical approach, doesn't it?
It really does. It implies there's this vital intuitive core that complements, and maybe in some crucial instances, even precedes data-driven decisions. But here's the question. If leaders are taught to be so analytical, so focused on metrics, how do we make space for this sensing? And how do we tell genuine intuitive recognition apart from just, gut feelings or even biases?
Yeah, that's the tricky part.
It feels like a risky proposition in a high-stakes environment.
That's a critical challenge, absolutely. And it gets right to the heart of integrating intuitive leadership. In our modern business world, there's an understandable, often necessary emphasis on quantifiable metrics, logical frameworks, evidence-based decision-making. We need that structure.
Sure.
However, in complex human-centric environments, which all leadership ultimately is, right? Leading a team, a company, a nation, purely rational approaches often fall short. They can miss the subtle dynamics, human trust, motivation, hidden resistance, authentic collaboration. Stuff data doesn't always show.
The intangibles.
Exactly, the intangibles. Intuition, in this context, isn't about guesswork or blindly following a hunch. It's more about a highly refined sensitivity to patterns, emotional cues, nonverbal signals, underlying currents that the conscious mind might not fully process yet.
So it's informed intuition.
Right. It's the synthesis of vast amounts of information, both explicit and implicit, that manifests as that gut feeling. When a leader can sense when trust is genuinely emerging or when a relationship is truly aligning, it allows them to act more authentically, connect more deeply, and ultimately build stronger, more resilient teams and partnerships. This intuitive recognition can provide a crucial, often overlooked competitive advantage that formal training alone just can't replicate. It's about leveraging that subconscious wisdom that maybe decades of experience have built, allowing it to inform the conscious decision-making process.
And Lóng Tíng emphasizes that this intuitive recognition becomes especially critical in cross-cultural contexts, where so much can get lost in translation, literally and figuratively.
Oh, definitely.
He illustrates this beautifully by contrasting exhaustive preparation with spontaneous connection. You can read every book on intercultural intelligence, learn all the etiquette, study the frameworks, and we do, right? We invest so much time, effort, millions of dollars in formal training programs designed to bridge these gaps.
Huge industry.
But despite all that, he says, one glance, one handshake, one shared silence can create more trust than hours of preparation. This is truly fascinating. It makes you wonder, how much time and effort do we pour into formal training, rigorous protocols, when sometimes the most impactful moments in leadership, especially across diverse cultures, are entirely unscripted, spontaneous, deeply human?
Yeah.
Is there a risk that by over-intellectualizing cross-cultural engagement, we actually miss the deeper, intuitive opportunities for genuine connection?
That's precisely the point. And it highlights a fundamental limitation of purely cognitive approaches. The formal training, while invaluable for understanding cultural nuances and avoiding missteps,
Hmm.
it primarily operates on an intellectual level. It equips us with knowledge about what to do, what to avoid. It's a guidebook,
Right.
essentially.
The do's and don'ts.
But genuine trust, particularly across significant cultural divides, often bypasses the cognitive.
Hmm.
It taps into something far more fundamental, the realm of shared humanity, authentic presence. It's in those unscripted moments, that shared smile conveying empathy, a silent understanding of a tough situation, a handshake communicating genuine respect. That's where real human connection is forged. This is Yuánfèn in action within leadership. It's that instant where two people, despite different backgrounds, languages, formal roles, they realize, okay, we're connected. Beyond position, beyond contract, beyond cultural protocols. It's about recognizing shared values or mutual respect that transcends learned behaviors. It demonstrates that true connection is often an intuitive, relational phenomenon, not merely transactional or intellectual. Ignoring this intuitive dimension for a solely rule-based approach, well, it can lead to interactions that are technically correct, but emotionally sterile, failing to build the deep trust needed for real collaboration, long-term success.
You risk creating perfectly polite but ultimately hollow relationships.
Exactly. Hollow relationships.
And Lóng Tíng provides concrete, real-world examples of this Yuánfèn manifesting in leadership in surprising, powerful ways. He's seen it in high-stakes negotiations where suddenly the tension broke and laughter flowed, completely transforming the atmosphere.
That shift.
And he's witnessed it in diverse teams where two people from different continents simply understood each other without translation, bridging language and cultural barriers with that invisible thread of connection. These aren't just feel-good anecdotes, are they? These have tangible, practical benefits that can genuinely alter outcomes.
Absolutely, the practical benefits are immense. Think about a negotiation. That sudden break in tension, that unexpected shared laughter, it can often collapse barriers, release impasses that hours of formal discussion and logical argument couldn't touch.
Yeah, it cuts through.
It signals a shift from an adversarial stance to one of potential partnership, leading to faster resolutions, more creative problem solving, more sustainable agreements. Because the human element of trust has been genuinely established. Similarly, in team building, when individuals from different continents or vastly different backgrounds just get each other without needing explicit verbal translation, it points to this profound alignment, values, purpose, maybe even a shared unspoken emotional intelligence. This fosters stronger collaborations, deeper relationships, a more cohesive team culture that transcends purely professional interactions. It builds a foundation where people feel genuinely seen, heard, valued.
Which leads to better work.
Right. Greater engagement, innovative thinking, heightened productivity. It's about building bridges that are truly robust, not just structurally sound, but relationally resonant, capable of bearing the weight of future challenges. It means less time correcting misunderstandings, more time building shared vision.
Now, despite all these benefits, Lóng Tíng is very clear. Yuánfèn cannot be forced. It cannot be manufactured.
Or you can't schedule it.
Exactly. You can't put it in a strategic plan, can't mandate it in a corporate directive, can't measure it in a performance review. It's too subtle, too organic for that. But he suggests as leaders, we can remain open to it. And when it appears, we can honor it.
Openness and honor.
And he offers this powerful foundational argument for why this matters so much, especially long term, because such recognition is the soil where trust grows.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, what Lóng Tíng is really advocating for is a fundamental reevaluation of what constitutes effective leadership. This means cultivating an environment of genuine presence, deep listening, intuitive openness, rather than solely focusing on deliverables, rigid structures, preset agendas. That becomes a critical leadership competency.
A shift in priority.
It's a profound shift. From a mechanistic view of organizations, people as cogs, to a more organic, human-centric one, where connection and the subtle dynamics of trust are recognized as foundational, almost like the ecosystem of success. Leaders who can foster this openness, who intentionally create space for these unscripted moments of recognition to occur, they're essentially enriching the very soil where deep, resilient trust can flourish.
Cultivating the soil.
Yeah. And this trust, in turn, fuels authentic collaboration, sparks true innovation, and ultimately leads to more sustainable success that transcends short-term gains. It's about recognizing that the soft skills, empathy, presence, intuitive understanding, are actually the hard drivers of profound and enduring leadership.
They're foundational, not optional.
Exactly. It's about sowing seeds of genuine connection, knowing the harvest will be far more abundant than any forced yield.
So why does all of this matter right now? In this specific moment in human history, Lóng Tíng poses this vital question, connecting our discussion right to the contemporary global landscape. He highlights the urgent challenges we face, because we live in a time of loneliness, of digital noise, of mistrust.
Yeah, it feels very current.
He paints this vivid and frankly quite sobering picture of modern life where we scroll past each other, we reduce each other to roles, labels, profiles. It's a powerful observation, isn't it, about the isolating nature of our digital existence, where connection is often superficial. The erosion of genuine, profound human connection in this increasingly superficial, transaction-oriented world.
That's a crucial observation. It grounds this abstract concept of Yuánfèn in our very real lived reality, the digital age. I mean, while it connects us globally with unprecedented speed and reach, it often does so at this superficial, curated level, creating what some sociologists call networked individualism.
Networked individualism.
Yeah, this pervasive sense of being constantly connected, yet profoundly alone. We're constantly curating, filtering, presenting ourselves and others through digital proxies, reducing the opportunities for the authentic, unmediated encounters that truly spark Yuánfèn. Lóng Tíng is highlighting this fundamental human need for deep, authentic connection that's being starved in our modern context.
Starved is a good word.
Yeah, the constant digital noise, the endless notifications, the pressure to perform online, it drowns out the quiet whispers of intuition, makes us less attuned to these deeper soul-level connections. And this inevitably contributes to a pervasive sense of mistrust and isolation, ironically, in an age of hyperconnectivity. It's a powerful call to re-engage with our innate capacity for genuine, unmediated interaction, to seek quality over quantity in our connections.
And in this context where genuine connection feels increasingly rare, Yuánfèn emerges as this powerful, almost spiritual antidote. Lóng Tíng argues that it reminds us that recognition is still possible, that life is more than algorithms and calendars. Thank goodness.
That we carry ancient threads, and sometimes, just for a moment, we feel them touch. Which is a really powerful and hopeful message, especially now.
That's a truly profound and hopeful thought. Consciously recognizing these ancient threads, intentionally allowing ourselves to feel them touch. That can be incredibly transformative. For individuals and communities, it actively combats feelings of isolation and meaninglessness by reaffirming our inherent interconnectedness, reminding us we're part of something much larger, more mysterious.
Yeah.
It shifts our perspective from that purely transactional, mechanistic view of life, everything about optimization, scheduling, digital efficiency, to one that embraces the mystery, the depth, the inherent beauty of human experience. This emphasis on subtle recognition encourages a conscious move away from the frantic, often superficial pace of modern life. It invites us to slow down, to be fully present, to open ourselves to more resonant, meaningful interactions that can bring a deeper sense of purpose and belonging.
Yeah. It's about reconnecting with the essential human experience beneath the digital veneer, rediscovering the sacred in the ordinary.
And it brings us full circle, doesn't it? Right back to that unexpected encounter in the city square. Lóng Tíng's final, incredibly moving reflection on the Doberman is this. Perhaps that is why the Doberman came to me, to remind me that the invisible bridges are still here waiting for us to notice.
Wow.
Such a powerful, almost spiritual image, suggesting these encounters serve a profound purpose to awaken us to a deeper reality of connection that we so often overlook in our daily scramble, which raises this important, almost urgent question for all of us, for you, our listener right now. In our busy, often distracted lives, are we truly paying attention to these quiet invitations to connect? Are we noticing the invisible bridges that are waiting for us, maybe even gently nudging us to cross? Or are we just too absorbed in our screens or schedules to feel that subtle touch, that wind beat of the cosmos?
This is really where the profound implications of this deep dive resonate most deeply, I think. The Doberman's visit wasn't just a charming story, it was a potent reminder. A living parable delivered right in the midst of everyday life. It underscores that these invisible bridges aren't just abstract concepts or poetic musings. They're real, present, actively seeking our attention. It's about recalibrating our perception, shifting from a mindset that prioritizes only the tangible, the measurable, the logically verifiable, to one that consciously values the subtle, the intuitive, the deeply human.
A conscious valuing.
Right. It challenges us to actively cultivate a state of presence, of quiet awareness, of openness. It invites us to develop the sensory and spiritual awareness to perceive these connections, and crucially, to honor them when they appear. This kind of awareness isn't just about personal enrichment. It feels fundamental to building a more connected, trusting, and ultimately, a more humane and resonant world, one interaction at a time.
Yeah.
It's about remembering our inherent capacity for connection that makes us truly human.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive, the core message from Lóng Tíng feels clear and beautifully simple, really. Not every deep encounter will last, and not every recognition will be mutual. We know that can hurt. But each one is enough. Each one is enough to remind us that leadership is not separate from humanity, but deeply intertwined with it. That cultures, conversations, souls, they're woven together in these intricate ways. Our minds may never fully explain, but our hearts, maybe our souls, intuitively grasp.
Yeah.
It's a holistic, ancient view of our interconnectedness, but it feels urgently relevant today. And so I leave you with Lóng Tíng's poignant and personal invitation. Remember a time when your soul recognized before your mind understood. Take a quiet moment with that memory. What did it feel like in your body, in your spirit? And what did it change in you, however subtly or profoundly, in that moment, or perhaps in the days and years that followed?
You don't just recall the event. Really reflect on its enduring impact. How did that moment subtly shift your perspective, your feelings, maybe even your choices moving forward? Did it open you to new possibilities, perhaps, or challenge a long-held assumption about yourself or the world? This kind of personal exploration, moving beyond mere recollection to profound reflection, that's where the true value of these insights lies, I think, transforming observation into deeply personal wisdom, and maybe even guiding your future path.
If you wish, Lóng Tíng invites you to share your story with him directly. He says he would be honored to hear it, which is a testament, I think, to the deeply personal yet universally shared nature of these insights. We've been exploring the profound wisdom of Lóng Tíng, a remarkable individual who walks as a bridge between cultures, between conversations, and towards the more conscious leadership we are all becoming. Through his work with Lóng Tíng Enterprises, dedicated to building bridges that carry voices across worlds. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. And we wholeheartedly encourage you to remain open to the invisible threads of connection in your own lives. Until next time.